Good evening. Welcome to Law in Action. This is your host, Kama Tharanka. It's good to be back. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to have an exciting show and one that you don't want to miss. I spent some time trying to work on the skit of this and to bring it live to you. So I hope you will enjoy it. Now, today we will be looking at an adjustment interview that is done wrongly. For example, there are a couple, and I will be playing the wife, that will come into the interview and they will actually, you will see the nervousness, watch out for how he answered questions and things like that. And those are the things that the interview officers look at when they're questioning you. So pay attention. It's funny, it's edgy, and I hope you like it. So stay tuned. The next segment, you're going to see the adjustment interview starring your truly.
Good morning. My name is Officer Partisan. I'll be doing your interview today for your adjustment through marriage. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear that everything that you will say here will be the truth and nothing else but the truth? And help you God?
Mm. Yes, sir.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Is that a yes, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what is your name, sir?
My, you mean my Emmanuel?
Your name, sir?
Yes, sir. Emmanuel
Emmanuel
Kwabena
Kobby. No, just give me your first and last name. I don't need the middle name.
Emmanuel
Emmanuel
Ebuekusi.
Ebuekusi.
Kusi.
How do you spell that, sir?
A-B-U Kusi.
Kusi. Ebuekusi.
Kusi.
So that's your last name?
Yes, sir.
That's your last name?
Yes, sir.
Emmanuel Ebuekusi.
Ebuekusi.
Okay, thank you. And what's your date of birth?
Which one? Oh, sorry, sir. Go again.
I'm waiting for your date of birth, sir.
Uh, May
May
26, 1974.
1974?
Yes, sir.
1974?
Yes, sir.
And that will be May 26th?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. And ma'am, what's your name, ma'am?
It's Kama.
Kama. And what do you do for a living?
I'm a CNA.
You're a CNA?
Yes.
And what is a CNA? What is
Certified nursing assistant.
certified nursing assistant? Which nursing facility do you work at?
I work with the one off in Dumfries.
In Dumfries. Does it have a name?
Certified care.
Certified care? And who's your supervisor there?
Mini.
And how long have you been working with him?
I've been there about 4 years.
About
About 4 years.
4 years?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you employed there full time?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, Mr. Emmanuel,
Yes.
what do you do for a living?
Please, I'm a part-time farmer, but I...
Part-time farmer.
Yes, sir.
You're a farmer.
Yes, I cultivate.
So you're a part-time farmer
Yes, sir.
here in the U.S.?
Oh! I'm sorry, sir. I'm a car dealership. Sorry, car dealer.
You're a car dealer.
Yes, sir.
And which car dealership would you work at, sir?
Toyota.
Toyota.
Yes, sir.
And which one? There are a lot of Toyota dealerships.
The one in Springfield.
Springfield Toyota?
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been working there?
2.5. Two and a half.
And what do you do there at Toyota?
Wash cars.
You just wash cars?
Just wash the cars.
Okay. And do you by any chance have a pay stub with you?
Which one is
I
it?
think we do. Yes.
Interruption. So sorry, sir. Please, this one, sir. Sorry, sir.
And that's your pay stub?
Yes, sir.
Is this the most recent one?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. This says 2012. So we're now in 2015. So I need your most recent pay stub from Springfield Toyota.
But you said please, sir. You didn't say recent.
So this is your most recent pay stub?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, this is not recent because this says 2012. So I need 2015 pay stub, if you don't mind.
But you said
I need 2015 pay stub,
15. Yeah.
the most recent pay stub, sir.
I have December 2014.
Sir, I'm asking you for 2015, not 2014. pay stub.
Oh, I found it. Sorry, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'll have to make copies of this, would you please?
Yeah, no
Thank you so much. Alice, can you please make copies of me for these pay stubs? Thank you. All right. Now, I'm going to be asking you questions about your marriage. What's your wife's full name?
Kim Ebiokusi.
Your wife's full name?
Yes, sir.
Your wife's full name is Ebaby.
That's the married name.
That's
That's your married name?
yes, sir.
And is that what you have in your filing papers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your wife's date of birth?
You've asked a question.
What is your wife's date of birth? When was your wife born?
June 22nd, 19.
So, sir, you don't know your wife's date of birth?
I know. I'm sorry, sir. June 2nd, 1972.
You've given me two date of birth. You gave me
the
June.
last one is the right one, sir.
Well, which one is the last one?
June 2nd.
June 2nd, right?
1972.
That's correct.
Okay. 72, you said?
Yes, sir.
So what about the date of birth in July? The July one. Whose birthday is July?
That's my sister. I'm sorry, sir.
Your sister?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where does your wife work at?
She just told you, sir.
But I'm asking you, I mean, your wife just told me where she works at.
Yes, sir.
But I want to know if you know where your wife works.
She's a CNE.
Yes, but where does she work? Does your wife have a job?
Yes, of course.
Your wife have a job,
Yes, sir.
but you don't know where your wife works.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
Yes.
I'm having trouble here because it's hard for me to make a final decision because your husband, number one, is giving me two date of birth. And number two, your husband doesn't even know where you work at.
I'm sure he's just nervous.
I'm nervous, sir.
Nervous about what?
I don't know. I mean, he's maybe nervous.
Do you guys want to take a break
Break.
and come back?
No, let's do it. Let's continue.
You sure?
Oh, let's offer.
Because the result might not come out good.
I mean, what you trying to say?
Well, for some reason, I'm just not convinced. I mean, he's not giving me the answers that I'm asking questions about. Sir,
Yes, sir.
what is your wife's date of birth?
I said June 2nd, 1972.
June 2nd.
Yes.
And you sure about June 2nd?
June 2nd.
All right, June 2nd. Where does your wife work at?
Sir, I know she's a CNE.
Sir, when did you guys get married?
97. I think 97. No, 2007.
2007.
Seven.
So what happened in 97? Where were you in 97?
You weren't even in this country.
97, I was in Kumasi.
Kumasi?
Yes, sir.
What is Kumasi?
It's a city, sir, in Ghana.
Ghana.
Yes, sir.
Is that where you from, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kumasi, Ghana. So when did you get married?
2007, sir.
2007. How did you meet your wife?
Oh,
How did you two meet?
we went to church, revival.
Revival. Which church do you go to? Do you go to church?
Of course.
Which church do you go to? Divine.
Divine word.
Okay. Divine Word.
Yes, sir.
And who's the senior pastor?
Bishop.
Bishop. Does the bishop have a name?
Bishop Kofi. I don't think.
Kofi.
Kofi, yes.
Okay.
Not coffee. Kofi. Not coffee.
So he's the senior pastor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do you do in church? Do you serve in the church?
Yes, sir.
Do they know that you're a member of the church?
Of course, I pay tithes, sir.
You pay what?
Tithes.
What?
Tithes.
What is that?
Tithes is like, it's in the Bible, sir.
Okay, just forget about it.
I'm not taking it.
How many children do you have, sir?
We're in Ghana. I'm sorry, sir. 2.
You have two children?
Five. I'm sorry, sir. Five. In total, five.
Okay. Okay. So you've given me that you have two children, but in total you have five. Is that a total, the 2 plus 7, or the
No.
2 plus 5, or you have a total of 5 or 7 children?
No. I have two children in America
Okay.
and three back home.
Do you have two children with her?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
How old are they?
11.
And what are their names?
Rebecca.
Who's the oldest? Rebecca?
Martha.
Rebecca Mata?
Martha is the oldest. Rebecca.
Mata is the oldest. And what's Martha's date of birth?
Hey, this is our marriage now.
Is Martha's the oldest, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's Martha's date of birth, sir?
May 26th.
May 26th. Okay. And what's the youngest? What's her name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. So you have two girls?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. And what's Rebecca's date of birth?
Same as her mother.
What's Rebecca's date of birth?
June 2nd.
June 2nd, huh?
Yes, sir.
Which hospital is Rebecca born at? Which hospital?
Children's Hospital.
Sir, where do you live? What is your current address?
2025 Cardinal Drive.
Okay. 2025 Cardinal Drive?
Yes, sir.
So Cardinal Drive where? In
No.
Cardinal Drive could be in Winnipeg, Canada.
Woodbridge.
In Woodbridge.
Virginia.
Okay, which county do you live? Which county is Woodbridge?
Fairfax. No, Prince William.
Prince William County. So if you live in Prince William County, how could she be born in Children's Hospital, which is in D.C.?
Papa movement. We went to DC.
Okay. And how old is Martha?
Martha is 5.
Martha is 5. And how old is Stacy?
No, Rebecca.
Rebecca. Good. She's 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how often do you guys go out?
Whenever she's free.
Ma'am, what did you cook for dinner last night?
I made some chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's all we eat, chicken and rice, every day.
So you meet in the church, and when did you propose, sir? When did you propose for marriage?
When did we marry?
In 2007.
I proposed in 2008.
Now, I want to ask you about the children in Ghana. Do you have a wife in Ghana, sir?
No, no, sir, no.
Now, let me ask you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
Did you guys get married in the church, or you got married in the courthouse?
Church, no courthouse.
And did you get married in your church, which is divine?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, do you cook?
No.
Ma'am, is he a good cook?
I sometimes do most of the cooking.
Do you guys really live together?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Do you have any proof of that? That you live together?
Oh, of course. We have photos. Yeah, we forgot the photo, but we live together.
You forget the photos that you live together?
We have.
Do you have any bank statements?
Yes,
You have
yes.
any utility bills?
Yeah, oh, of course.
Do you have any of that?
We have. That's the bank statement, and we file taxes. Oh,
I need to see 3 years of tax returns if you can. This one was in 1997, so this one would not work. This one you filed alone, this will not work.
Sir, 97, I was not even in America.
2007.
Wow.
That's all we have.
That's all you have?
Yes, sir.
So when did you travel to America?
During the coup,
During the what?
2001.
So you came to the U.S. in 2001.
Yes, sir.
How did you come in the U.S.?
Plane. A plane.
All right, so our interview was done. So thank you so much, and you'll be hearing from us.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. That was funny. Didn't I tell you? You liked it? Yes, I loved it. I love doing it. I love working with Emmanuel. He's a great, great, funny actor. We had Pastor Dowda, who is a pastor at the church, who was actually playing our immigration officer, and boy was he stern. And then we had Emmanuel, who was playing my husband. So let me point out some of the things that was going on wrong. The first thing I noticed when we walked in, Emmanuel is kind of unorganized because he's carrying a file that did not have his documents in order. First thing you want to do before you go, make sure if you had not submitted all of your documents ahead of time. Now, if you had a lawyer, the lawyer would have previously submitted all of your documents. Your documents of your bona fide marriage, which includes your marriage certificate, your lease agreements, taxes, bank statements, insurances, anything that bears the both for your names. The lawyer will package it, and the package will be your bona fide marriage, the fact that you're married to a United States citizen. So they make it in a neat order. So when immigration gets it, they're flipping through and they see everything is listed in order. So that's why it's always good to get a lawyer to do these things. If not, if you're doing it on your own, you still want to be organized, because if you send it where your have your bullet point where they can see, oh, marriage certificate, birth certificates, all this different certificates, and then you go to the bona fides of the marriage, whether it's a lease agreement, the tax returns, the insurances, everything listed. You do a nice cover letter. It's very, very nice. Officers love that stuff. So now the first thing is he wasn't organized. He had everything bunched up in a file. So when they were asking for this, and they didn't have a lawyer, so he was trying to pull stuff out of the paper and it was falling on the ground and stuff like that. So it just creates for a long interview, which is unorganized. The second thing is he didn't really know most of the information. When they asked him a question, he was misreading some of the question, which on some level it's okay because you're nervous. It's okay to be nervous. But before you go, you and your spouse need to prepare. If you don't have a lawyer, sit with your spouse and go over all these things. Now, one of the things that we didn't bring live was sometimes they would ask the spouse a question and then ask him a question. Ask the spouse a question, ask him a question. Some interview officers will ask the beneficiary questions a lot because they're trying to get the green card, so they may want to ask them more questions. Um, so when they ask him a question, sometimes because of the cultural differences and language barriers, he's saying some things, and the officers is writing stuff down, so they could miswrite some things that you're saying. So be clear in your responses and don't answer questions that are not posed to you. Um, when they asked Emmanuel, what does your wife do? Obviously, he didn't know. He would say, well, where does she work? She works at CNA. Um, those things are taken as discrepancies. You don't know your spouse, so obviously you must not be married. I mean, you're married, but you don't live together. So you have to be very careful with your information. Make sure when because Emmanuel was so nervous, he did not engage me. You got to engage your spouse. You look at your spouse sometimes when they're answering questions. It shows good forms of communication. Um, when you walk in, pull your spouse's chair out, because those officers are trained from the moment you walk through the door. They start assessing your body language. They start assessing how you interact, because the typical man and wife marriage, usually the man, you can see he try to take the leadership role. When they go somewhere, he pulls the chair out maybe, or he might look at his wife or hold the bag and things like that. So they look at all those things to see your body language, how you interact with each other. So it's very important um, to be engaging with each other. And then secondly, like I said, have all of your documents organized. If you did not submit it before, it's always good to submit it before. Bring copies of your birth certificate and things like divorce decrees and things like that, just in case they don't have it. But it's really good to be organized, put it that way. Um, Again, some of the questions that were asked with Emmanuel, he was either not giving the right answer, forgetting dates, like marriage dates, which was conflicting. They're called conflicting statements. What the interview officer had in his pad was obviously different from what Emmanuel was saying. That creates a problem. It creates what they call inconsistency of information. that causes them to either send a notice of intent to deny your application. So you want to be very careful with that when you're going to your interview. Know your information, know your marriage date, all the birth dates of the children if there are children involved. When they ask you, do you have children? If you have some in Ghana, Liberia, wherever you have some, you have to count all of your children and give that one number rather than they're not talking just about kids here in the United States or kids in another country. They're talking about all your children. So those kinds of information is very important to have. Make sure you can take a day, like I said, sit down with your spouse if you don't have a lawyer. If you have a lawyer, your lawyer will bring you into the office and your lawyer will prepare you by giving you questions, asking you different questions about your home, the core of your house, the paint, the bed sheets, what did you eat the night before, what car did you drive, the cell phone numbers, all of those information you need to just know just in case they start to ask you questions, and know them effectively and quickly, so that they don't think you making it up by sitting there thinking. So you saw it done the wrong way, so to speak, and we try to make it as funny and edgy as possible so that you can have fun, you can laugh, but learn something what not to do when you go to the immigration office. Now you notice my body language because sometimes we enter into these marriages. Um, they're legitimate marriage, but sometimes the American spouse, you might find a girl from somewhere and you say, okay, I'll help you, you help me or whatever, you guys are living together and you're trying your best, but she doesn't know what's really at stake. She don't understand the magnitude of this. Like, you need this paper because you got to work, you got to travel, you got to go back home. So if you notice my body language, at some point I didn't care. I folded my hands, I was rolling my eyes, um, because usually sometimes the alien spouse, the petitioning spouse, which is a U.S. spouse, they don't get it. They don't get the magnitude. They were born here or they already have their citizenship. So they don't get the kind of nerves that you have, because without this, you really can't get the type of jobs that you want. You can come from back home as an engineer and then you're working as a janitor in the United States. That happens. I've seen doctors or engineers, civil engineers, professors come from their country with high ranks, and actually now they're working as a cleaning person or as working, in group homes, which nothing is wrong with it. I'm not knocking it, but that's not what you were doing before. You were high, you're making good salary back home, but now it's cut down. So just because of this paper. So sometimes you got to belittle yourself, and if you're gonna do that, then you might as well know your be on your A game and know your game so that you can go in and give a good show. That's what I call it. I always tell my client, we've got to give a good show. You know, whether you have children, whatever the case may be, we need to give a good show, because that's what it is. It's a good show. Make these people, convince these people that you live together. Now, my body language kind of told the story of I don't want to be here. I don't really care what he's saying. I was jumping in a couple of times, and officers would say, a good officer would turn around to me and say, look, I'm not talking to you. They want the person who they asked the question to answer the question. So those are just tips to kind of be aware of. So I hope you learned a lot or a little, or pick one or two things from there that you can relate to, that you can say, oh my God, I did that. Oh, okay, now I understand. We probably would do another one of this skit because I would clean it up a bit, and we're going to go a little deeper, especially with the naturalization interview, where you have filed. Emmanuel has adjusted his status, and now he's going for his interview for naturalization. We will probably film that next week, okay, week after, so that we can show him by himself now doing his naturalization interview. It's going to be great. So until then, stay tuned. We have some bills to pay, and I will touch base on how it was done rightly and some of the things that you need to pick up from there. Our sponsors have to pay some bills, and the studio have to pay some bills as well. So see you in 2.